Last Tuesday, a man walked into a dealership in Dallas and dropped $52,000 on a 2021 Chevy Tahoe with 61,000 miles. 6 years of financing, monthly payments bigger than most people's rent. The salesman congratulated him like he just made the deal of a lifetime. Meanwhile, just a few hours later, I watched Patricia, a retired nurse, drive off a private driveway in a 2003 Toyota Land Cruiser. It had 310,000 miles, but Patricia wasn't worried. She paid $4,800 cash, and the seller handed her a folder so thick it looked like a college textbook. Every single oil change, every service, and every mile documented in pristine detail. Here's what nobody in that Dallas dealership understands. Patricia didn't just buy a used SUV. She bought an engineering masterpiece. One built before accountants started overruling engineers, before planned obsolescence became the norm, and before manufacturers decided that 150,000 miles was long enough. Today, I'm going to show you 5 SUVs that aren't just reliable, they're virtually indestructible. These vehicles laugh at the idea of 500,000 miles, not on paper, not as some far-off dream, in real driveways, with real families, in real weather. And the best part? You can still find clean examples for under $5,000. If you believe true reliability is more important than shiny luxury, hit that like button, because today's list is all about SUVs built to last, long after the others have fallen apart. Start with the one most people completely overlook. The Chevy Suburban, specifically the 2000 to 2013 generations with the LS architecture V8, not the new one, the old one, the one sitting in the back of every used lot that nobody's looking at because it's too old. Here's what those people are missing. The Secret Service doesn't run Suburbans because they got a good lease deal. Airport shuttle companies don't stack 400,000 miles on them by accident. Law enforcement agencies don't build entire fleets around a vehicle that can't hold up. The Suburban earned that reputation mile by mile over decades of punishment that would destroy anything modern. The 5.3L and 6.0L Vortec V8 engines in these trucks are the same LS architecture that drag racers and hot rodders have been beating to death for 30 years, and the engines still keep running. That tells you everything. The internals are overbuilt to a degree that modern fuel economy regulations simply won't allow anymore. The heavy-duty transmission and rear axle were designed for towing, which means daily highway driving barely registers as stress on these components. A mechanic named Dave in Ohio told me last year that these engines are basically maintenance-friendly by design. Parts are everywhere. Any shop in North America knows exactly how to work on them. And because millions were built, you can find a replacement part for under $40 that would cost $400 on a European luxury SUV. The catch? The interior plastics will rattle. Some electrical accessories will eventually quit, but the core drivetrain, the part that actually matters, will outlast everything around it. You can find clean examples with full service histories for $3,500 to $4,800. The mileage that scares most buyers is the exact mileage where these trucks are barely getting started. Now the one that confuses people every single time, the Lexus GX 460. People hear Lexus and immediately assume expensive maintenance, expensive parts, expensive everything. That assumption is exactly why you can still find these for under $5,000 with serious miles on them. Here's the reality. The GX is not a luxury car that happens to look like an SUV. It's a Toyota Land Cruiser Prado wearing a tailored suit. Same platform, same body-on-frame engineering, same bulletproof mechanical DNA. The badge just changed. The 4.6L V8 in the GX 460 uses a timing chain, not a belt, which eliminates one of the most expensive maintenance items on any high-mileage vehicle. It runs port injection, not direct injection. That distinction matters more than most people realize. Direct injection engines build carbon deposits on intake valves over time, requiring expensive cleaning services every 60,000 to 80,000 miles. The GX doesn't have that problem. The fuel washes the valves clean on every single combustion cycle, the old-fashioned way. I documented a 2007 GX 470 in Arizona with 388,000 miles last spring. The owner, a retired contractor named Bill, bought it with 290,000 miles for $4,200. His neighbors thought he'd made a terrible mistake. 4 years later, the leather still feels solid, the air conditioning is ice cold, and the transmission shifts like the vehicle just came off the lot. Because the GX is typically purchased by older, wealthier buyers who service them religiously at dealerships, the maintenance records on these trucks are almost always immaculate. You're not just buying a reliable SUV, you're often buying someone else's perfectly documented service history. Clean examples with 250,000 miles run $4,000 right now. That number will not last. The Toyota Sequoia doesn't get nearly enough credit. Most people think of it as just a bigger 4Runner, but what it actually is a Tundra pickup truck with a roof and 3 rows of seating bolted on top. That's not a marketing line, that's literally what Toyota engineered it to be. The second-generation Sequoia carries the 5.7L V8, the same engine that's been documented hitting over 1 million miles in commercial Tundra applications. 1 million miles! In trucks that tow and haul for a living. So when a family uses one for school runs and road trips, that engine is essentially on vacation every single day. The cooling system is massively oversized for the engine's output. The alternator is heavy-duty. The internal engine components are thick in ways modern weight reduction mandates no longer allow. Thermal breakdown, the thing that kills most high-mileage engines, is basically not a concern here. The engineering margins are just too wide. A family in Tennessee put 465,000 miles on their 2004 Sequoia. They bought it with 260,000 miles for $4,100. 8 years of school drop-offs, 2 cross-country moves, and regular towing of a small camper. Total unplanned repairs in 8 years, 1 alternator and a set of ball joints. Everything else was scheduled maintenance. That's not a lucky story. That's what happens when a vehicle is engineered correctly from the beginning. Clean first and second generation Sequoias with documented service histories are sitting on Facebook Marketplace right now for $3,800–$4,900. For a family that needs genuine space and genuine reliability, nothing on this list delivers more value per dollar. The 5th generation Toyota 4Runner from 2010 to 2024 is proof that doing nothing is sometimes the smartest engineering decision a manufacturer can make. While every competitor was chasing turbocharged small displacement engines and complex hybrid systems, Toyota left the 4Runner almost completely unchanged for 15 years. The automotive press mocked them for it constantly. The 4Runner owners hit 400,000 miles and kept driving. The 4.0L V6 in these trucks has been refined through so many production cycles that there are virtually no remaining weak points. The early flaws were engineered out years ago. It doesn't use turbochargers, which means no intercoolers, no boost controllers, no turbo seals to replace at 120,000 miles. It doesn't use cylinder deactivation, which eliminates a whole category of failures that plague modern V8s. It doesn't use direct injection. The 5-speed automatic transmission it's paired with is ancient by modern standards, which means it's been understood, tested, and perfected for decades. A subscriber named James from Georgia bought a 2012 4Runner with 245,000 miles for $7,800 2 years ago. He told me recently it just crossed 340,000 miles and has never left him stranded once, not a single unplanned repair. He said the only money he spent beyond scheduled maintenance was a new set of tires. Less complexity means less failure. That's not a slogan. It's an engineering truth that the 5th Gen 4Runner proves every single day on roads across the country. The 5th generation is slightly above our $5,000 budget for cleaner examples, but even rough ones with solid service histories can be found in the $6,000 to $7,500 range. For what you're getting, that price is still hard to argue with. And then there is the Toyota Land Cruiser. Everything else on this list is reliable. The Land Cruiser is in a different category entirely. Toyota engineers the Land Cruiser to a 25-year service life requirement, not a marketing target, an actual engineering specification. Because these vehicles are deployed in the Australian outback, across the Sahara, and in conflict zones where a breakdown doesn't mean calling roadside assistance. It means being stranded somewhere genuinely dangerous. Toyota built the Land Cruiser so that scenario basically cannot happen. The axles are thicker than anything else on this list. The frame is reinforced beyond what road use would ever require. The 4.7L V8 uses an iron block that is for all practical purposes indestructible as long as the timing belt is changed on schedule. The later 5.7L V8 uses a timing chain and is the same engine documented hitting over 1 million miles in Toyota Tundra fleet use. This is the only SUV on this list where 300,000 miles is genuinely considered middle age. Owners who understand what they have don't get nervous at 300,000 miles. They get excited about the next 300,000. Patricia, the retired nurse from the beginning of this video, has now put 28,000 miles on her Land Cruiser since buying it. She called it the best financial decision she's made in the last decade. The previous owner's service folder contained records going back 14 years. She knows exactly what that engine has been through. There are no surprises coming. Clean J100 and J200 Land Cruisers, with documented history, run $4,500 for higher mileage examples. Yes, that's the top of the budget range, but you're not buying an SUV. You're buying the closest thing to a mechanical guarantee that the used car market actually offers. Here is the honest truth about every vehicle on this list. The mileage on the odometer is almost never the real story. Two identical 2004 Sequoias with 280,000 miles each can have completely different futures depending on one thing: whether the previous owner treated maintenance as optional or essential. The SUVs on this list will absolutely reach 500,000 miles, but only in the hands of owners who understand that maintenance isn't a cost. It's an investment in every mile that comes after it. The folder of service records matters more than the asking price. The owner who can hand you 12 years of documented oil changes matters more than the owner with the cleanest paint. Find the boring, well-documented example over the pretty one with no paperwork, every single time. These 5 SUVs were built during an era when engineers had more authority than accountants. That era is gone. The vehicles it produced are still out there, sitting on driveways and backlots, waiting for buyers who understand what they're actually looking at. If this helped you see the used SUV market differently, subscribe. New videos drop every week, and they're all built around the same idea: buying smarter, not spending more.